Hi everybody. How's it going? Can you guys hear me? I think my microphone is working. Let's see. I see people waiting. Oh, Danusha said hi. Hi, Danusha. Oh, it was fun. Oh, yeah, the painting last night was really, really fun, wasn't it? Okay, Karen sees me and hears me. Hi, guys. It's really good to see you. Hi, Mermaid Crystal. Thank you for being here. I am going to start off by burning a little bit of sage for us. I hope you're all doing very well today. It's been quite a long week. I know those of you that were at the retreat with us. Oh no. Anyway, I know those of you that were at the retreat with us, we've basically all been going since last week. There's just been lives and everything every day. So thank you for those of you who have been sticking with us. I hope you're not too tired. I know it's a lot of information to take in. I'm a little bit tired. I'm not going to lie to you. So I am just going to release everything that's no longer serving me into the smoke. I'm not sure why, but YouTube and our class page say we're meeting tomorrow. Does it say tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'm sorry for any confusion that there may be. I'm not planning on meeting tomorrow. But let me know, Lisa. Danusha is wiped. Yeah. Can we just take a minute to breathe together? It's just been go, 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 right? And I mean, it's been a lovely go, go, go because we're learning all the new things and spending time together and doing ceremony together. It's all been so wonderful. But at a certain point, you just have to stop and take a breath and just kind of take a break, right? So. That feels good. Regina says, I wish I had been able to make the retreat, but I'm so happy you all had an amazing time. It was amazing, but I really believe that anyone that wasn't able to go to the retreat, it's because it wasn't their medicine, and that's really okay. You don't have to do every single thing. And I think if you do every single thing, that's when you get tired and burned out, right? So I don't know if we have any new people here. If you don't know why you're here, this is our content processing session for June. So every month Karen and I come live twice. We do one for Crystal Masters and one for Soul Shift. That's okay, Lisa. No need to apologize. I get my days mixed up too. You're so cute. Thursday, June 30th. That's funny. Anyway, I think we're all just tired. Yeah, so Karen and I come live and we do a class content processing session for Crystal Masters and for Soul Shift. So this is the Soul Shift one. We usually put up a post in the Facebook group where people can submit their questions ahead of time, and then we stay live with you for about half an hour to get all of those questions answered, in addition to any questions you guys have here in the feed. It's always really nice. I always enjoy the conversations that we have here. It's usually a nice, intimate, small group. So that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to start right off the bat with Stephanie Kolb's question, which I thought this was a really, really great question that encompasses all of the content from this month. She said, my sun sign is a mutable sign, Gemini, and I'm always told I know how to go with the flow, adapt to change well, etc. However, that's not really true. Of the 7 planets we worked with, I have 3 cardinal, 2 fixed, and 2 mutable. My sun is mutable, my moon, Leo, and rising Taurus are fixed. Could this be why I have never done well with change and don't go with the flow so easily? Yes. I do believe, Stephanie, that is a big indicator of why you struggle with that, even though your sun sign is mutable. She also said, do those planets' positions in particular, moon and rising, influence me more than others? I am guessing so, even though I have a fair amount of mutable and cardinal energy. I do feel this is a gift of mine. Transition Guide is the intuitive gift of the month. I'm often the person people come to during a change, crisis, or transition. I would like some suggestions on how I can work around the energy of finding change and flow difficult, so I can help others with transitioning as well as myself. Honestly, I'm able to guide others through transition pretty well. It's harder for me to walk myself through change, and it's important I learn without the resistance and fear. Thank you. I think this is a really, really, really great question. So, and I have a lot of notes. So Tara couldn't be live with me today, but I did talk to her about these and we made some notes together. So just know that Tara's wisdom is here in my answers, even though it's me giving them to you. Stephanie Kolb, I have notes at different parts of your question. So to start off with the astrology part, we went over your seven personal planetary placements in your chart, and we chose those again because they are personal to you. Some of the farther away planets don't have as personal of an impact on us. It's more generational, but that doesn't mean it's everything. So this is what we did this month, and what we tend to do here in Soul Shift is very surface level astrology, and that doesn't mean it's not in depth. It doesn't mean it's not accurate, but it means astrology is this big, like bigger than that big, and due to the nature of this program, we're able to cover about this much of it. So there's a lot more to astrology than we're able to go over. So I always recommend doing some personal research, seeing an astrologer if you can. There's all sorts of research, and just using astro.com in particular is really helpful. But with that being said, there are aspects and houses and conjunctions and all sorts of other stuff that are going on in your chart that we're not even looking at this month. So you say that your sun is mutable, but that you have 2 fixed and 3 cardinal as well. That's one portion of it. You also might have more cardinal houses and stuff like that. So there is a lot more to look into there. But I mean, you're right in your assumption that your mutable sun sign is not everything. And I wouldn't say your moon and rising are stronger necessarily or have more influence, but because I mean, at that point, it's kind of 2 against 1, you know? So in that case, I would say that maybe that energy is a little bit stronger. Mermaid Crystal said, so big, it takes years to study even just the basics. I mean, and we've been doing Soul Shift for this is our 4th or 5th year of Soul Shift specifically, and we've still haven't made it through all of the basics of astrology. So there's quite a lot else going on. I also did want to say... so the second part of your question where you said you're able to help people through transitions more easily than you're able to do yourself. I mean, that's common. That's because when you're helping others, you don't have to actually do the work. They have to do the work. And some of us really prefer being in supportive roles. I love being in a supportive role. I think I'm pretty good at it. I think that's why I find myself here where I am, because I'm not only in a supportive role to Athena, but I'm in a supportive role to you guys and our community as well. And Stephanie Kolb, I can see how you're good at that as well. I think a lot of the people here are. So just because you're struggling with transition and change in your life does not mean that this isn't a strong gift of yours. Unfortunately, there's not a way. You asked how I can work around the energy of finding change and flow difficult so you can help others with transitioning as well as yourself. It's important I learn how without the resistance and fear. Unfortunately, there's no workaround there. The only way to work it the only way is through it. So the note I made from Tara is She never gives advice to work around. She always encourages you to work through it. Work through the resistance and fear. Also, she did want to let everyone know that when we work with evolutionary astrology, which is what we do work with here in Soul Shift, your South Node and the house your Pluto is in is also really important too, and that's something we haven't looked at collectively this year or for a while. So I highly recommend doing some personal research on that. Again, astro.com is really, really, really helpful. And if it's a subject that you're interested in, we could look into developing some content around that, maybe working it into one of our upcoming classes. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. And the final tidbit of tarot information and wisdom I have for you is you don't have to use astrology for everything. That's not how it's meant to be worked with. And you don't have to use astrology for everything. So I hope that answers your question. Oh, and then I had an example, which is actually myself. So I relate to you feeling this way, Stephanie. I really, really do, because I am a Pisces. My sun, moon, and Mercury are all in Pisces, which that's a mutable sign. Some say it's like the most mutable because it's also the water sign. But I have my sun and moon are conjunct Saturn, which is not mutable or go with the flow at all. So I actually do have a lot of that energy as well, where you would think that I'm like a go with the flow kind of person, but I actually do have quite a lot of control issues. And it's not that I resist change so much, but as long as I'm in a system as long as I'm in a place of control through the change, I do just fine. So I do see you, and it's just an example of how other stuff in your chart can have major impacts on you as a person. Mermaid Crystal says face, fear, and get cheer. I love that. And then Danusha says, sound great to me, more Pluto. Okay, yeah, thank you. Oh, Stephanie Kolb. I just spent the first 10 minutes talking about your question. So I am answering your question, Stephanie Kolb. So go back. The main gist of it is, so I went pretty in depth. We've been talking about this for quite a while. But I just want you to know while you're live here with me, I thought it was a really, really great question, and I thank you for asking it, and I think it was a good conversation for all of us to have. The main gist is that there is a lot going on in your birth chart that we're not even covering, and you're right in assuming that some of that may be having a stronger influence on your personality and you as a person than just your sun is. So definitely look into that. It's just your luck, but I'm still glad you're here because we still have other questions to get through as well, and you'll be able to watch that in the replay. And no, please don't apologize, it's totally fine. So Kim Knutson said, I am also the person people come to with everything. I know this has been a gift of mine for some time, but I also feel like I get taken advantage of. Like, some will only come to me when they have a problem, and I'd like to know the kindest way to set up a boundary with this. I don't want to be the person that you only come to dump on. I want true friends, clean relationships. I mean, this is just, I feel like you're speaking to all of us right now, because I think probably everyone in this group, or everyone that has the transitional guide gift, probably feels this to an extent as well. And I think what's here? You might want to wait until Alexys is done. What am I seeing? Okay, you know what? Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, I'm just going to just so you guys know, I usually spend the first part of class answering the questions that were pre-submitted, and then any extra time we have, we'll answer questions in the feed as well. So, so I'm seeing everyone is saying this is a wonderful question. It really, really is. And my personal advice is we cannot control what other people do or what they come to us with. We can only control our reactions and set up our own personal boundaries. This is something that I'm very bad at. Karen, not to call her out, I consider her a little bit of a boundary queen. She just knows how to hold her container in the way that best serves everyone, and I really admire her about that. I really admire that about her. So if she has any suggestions, she'll put them in the feed as well. But what I would say is you say you want clean relationships, you're going to be the one to lead that. And I know it's really, really, really difficult, but your relationships aren't going to be clean until you're the one doing that. So I think if you have people in your life that are coming to you only to dump on you or only to use your gifts, even if it's subconsciously, I think they need to be told, like, hey, like, I can't hold this, or I can't only hold this. But I think there are also other things you can do, like making sure to send people's energy back to them at the end of the day. Or if you feel somebody courting to you, Athena says to put a hand or put something over your solar plexus, because that's where people cord to you through. I know I tend to stand like this a lot, or I tend to like stand, like if I have to walk anywhere in the building, not even that I'm worried that anyone here is doing that, but I tend to kind of carry my laptop like this. Like I keep my solar plexus blocked a lot. And that helps. And then also just being conscious and intentional about sending the energy back to people at the end of the day. Just being clear about what you will and what you can't communicate about. If someone brings something to you and you just can't hold it at that moment, just being really clear and saying, like, I'm so sorry, like I can't hold this right now. Like, I'm wishing you the best, but I can't take it on right now. I'm so sorry. I know I've personally started sometimes if I really, really, really need to dump on someone, or like if I'm looking for someone to vent to, because we all do it, I'll ask, like, hey, can you hold this? And I try to ask people, but sometimes that doesn't always happen. And I know very well that I can tend to be the person that does that as well. So it's a two-way street for sure. And you're not Costco. That's what Karen is saying here in the feed. Mermaid Crystal says, teach me, Karen, I need to set better boundaries. I feel guilt when I don't help someone coming to me. Me too. That's really something that I've been working through, and I think it's just what's been helping with me, because there are people in my life that I know I just can't help, and I know it wouldn't serve them or myself to put too much stress on that. I just keep reminding myself, like, this is their work to do. That's the other thing. You have to be able to separate in your head what their work is and what your work is, and make sure that you're not doing their work for them, because you can't do their work for them. It's not going to get you anywhere. What do we do about the guilt when we do set a boundary? That's what I'm saying. I just kind of, I talk myself through it, and I just, I remind myself that it's for the best for all involved. How do you send your energy back at the end of the day? That's a great question, Alma. Athena has talked a lot about this. She just visualizes and just says, like, any energy I'm holding that isn't mine, I'm sending back to wherever it came from. And that's all you have to do. And you can, if you know what cords are on you, or if you know what you're holding that isn't yours specifically, you can envision sending that back. But I just kind of envision my solar plexus area, and I just kind of like send white light out, and I just kind of push everything that's connected to me that shouldn't be. I just push it away, and I set the intention that it's going back to where it came from. And then also burning, like clearing herbs, or using your shungite. If you have the shungite coaster from last year, that's a great one to put against your solar plexus as well. I hope all of these are helpful, and I hope you'll share what do you guys do, because I know you guys all do this as well. So what are your suggestions? Kimberly Virgil said, hi Alexys and Karen, yesterday I used my shungite harmonizer and a strand of beads of amazonite during class, since I don't have any harmonizers besides shungite. seem to work. My question is, what's the thought of using 2 shungite harmonizers? Are they only for grounding? Thank you. It's a really good question, Kimberly. I haven't tried it, and I don't think Athena has tried it either, so I can't speak from experience on this one. But I can say I wouldn't have recommended using a strand of beads, again, because I haven't done that. But from what you're saying, it worked pretty well. So I recommend trying out the shungite too. It's not just that they're grounding, it's also that it represents the feminine. So you do need something to represent the masculine. Typically, shungite is not programmable. Quartz is, though. So maybe try it with some quartz. If you don't have a quartz harmonizer, try using quartz beads or a quartz generator or something and see. I think you need to experiment. But typically, if you are doing harmonizer work, you should have a masculine one and you should have a feminine one, and the feminine one should technically be shungite. We cord all the time, Jeanette. Everything. I know. It is crazy to think about just all the cords you're collecting throughout the day. It could be overwhelming if you really try to picture that. Just your instincts and trust your intuition. It's never going to lead you astray, Kimberly. And yet you said yes, it did. Yeah, so try it out. I mean, I think our sacred tools are important, and I think certain shapes and tools were created for specific reasons. But I also think that intention is everything. That is always my number one. That's kind of my number one motto. So when I see it all the time in our YouTube streams, and when we're doing public events specifically, and sometimes even with Soul Shift Tool, I'll see people saying, well, what if I don't have this exact oil? What oil do I use instead? Or what if I don't have this exact generator or something? My answer is, intention is everything. You do not need any tool but yourself. And if you don't need any tool but yourself, that means you don't need any one tool to do something. You have the power to do it all. And our tools help. They help direct energy, and they help energy flow. And I'm not saying they're not useful. They are, or I wouldn't be here. But what I'm saying is your intuition is everything, and there's always a way around something, in my personal opinion. Karen says, I send energy back and call my energy back multiple times a day during the day. I did forget to say that too. Being conscious about calling your energy back too. I mean, that's kind of the the ethical, polite thing to do as well. 'Cause especially if you know, like, man, like I word vomited all over that person. Oh man, like I was specifically frustrated and I just kept on venting and venting and venting. I feel like I tend to do that a lot. It's something I'm trying to get better about. But I should also be better about calling that in too, so that the other person doesn't have to do that. It's okay, Teresa. You can watch the replay as well. Danusha just did it. That's awesome. You know what? I'm gonna do it too. Maybe we can all do it together. So I'm gonna light some sage, and I'll just show you how I tend to do this sort of thing. So I'm lighting the sage. You guys can't see that. And you guys might have a different system, and I would love to see it if you want to post a video or like a written post where you describe it. So what I'm going to do is with my left hand, with my left hand, because I'm calling it back, right? So with my left hand, I'm going to call my energy back. So any energy that any of my energy that someone is holding on to, or any energy that I've sent to someone else, I call back to me. And then sage. And then with my right hand, the sending hand, any energy that I'm holding on to that isn't serving me, I'm sending back to where it came from. And you just visualize it. And it can be as simple as that. Honestly, I already feel better. Karen does it when she starts to feel heavy during the day. I think that is a great idea. Stephanie Kolb says, I'll use selenite or smoky quartz usually when I do. Sometimes smoky quartz at my feet to ground me and hold the selenite. I love that too. Ooh, I actually really do feel better. It's like I instantly kind of felt lighter. And it took 10 seconds, guys. Just maybe we can try. I can try, at least during the weekdays, to maybe post a reminder if you think that would be helpful for you guys. Or maybe for the next couple days, I can just do a quick live in the Soul Shift group and do that with you. Because I think doing it with you guys will help me remember to do it, and it might be helpful for you guys too. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in. All right, last question from my paper. Maribel Garcia. Hi, every time I journey, I call in the guardians and open a circle as we're supposed to. However, I always feel like there's other spirits that want to communicate and make me feel a bit uncomfortable. How can I fix this? I do tell them to go away. So Maribel, this is interesting, and it probably has something to do with what your personal intuitive gifts are. I'm not sure if you mean that the spirits want to communicate and that makes you feel uncomfortable, or if you mean that the spirits want to communicate and are purposely making you feel uncomfortable. Typically when you're doing work like this, if you open your circle and call in your guides, you are protected, and you've set that intention to be protected. Again, intention means everything. Doing this work can mean inviting spirit communication in, and I think if you are being protected and everything, it wouldn't be negative or dark, if that makes sense. But of course, if you don't, if that's not what you're looking for and you're not wanting to communicate with the spirit realm, I can see how it would be frustrating and uncomfortable if you're just trying to do something else, so just be really, really intentional. I talked to Tara and one of our writers, Linnea, about these questions as well, just as I was prepping, and we're talking about how you can't control what comes in. You can protect yourself and you can open up your circle, and like I said, theoretically, if you did that, I don't think that there should be anything particularly dangerous or negative that comes through, but you can't control what comes in, or what messages you receive. That's the thing. These spirits that are trying to communicate with you, they probably have messages. And you can't control what messages you receive, but you can control what you listen to and what you put your energy to. So it's probably gonna take a little bit of personal work from you, particularly if you are clairaudient, which is what it sounds like to me, which is when you hear spirits. So you can control what you put your energy to. You can also work on extra protection. Maybe try some salt, black tourmaline. I see a suggestion from Jeanette to use black kyanite. The stone that came to me earlier when I read your question was isurine, which really helps shield you so that you can do your work without getting stuff in. So I think all of those would help you. Mermaid Crystal said, if I sense a spirit that is not welcomed in my personal space, I call out to them, thanking them for visiting and that they are not needed at this time, and gracefully say thank you. I think that's great advice, Mermaid Crystal. Thank you. Stephanie Kolb said, I alternate selenite and golden sheen obsidian and use a single feather or smudge fan to dust the energy off of me. That's great as well. Aw, Lala, that's so nice. Lala said, I absolutely love Soul Shifting Crystal Masters, that I honestly can't see myself not continuing after this year. I love that. Thank you for that, Lala. Jacqueline uses black salt. Regina asked them to leave. Yes, so all really, really great answers. So that's all of the questions that I received. I'm happy we're at our time, but I'm happy to stay a few minutes and answer any other questions that you guys have. I see Danusha saying, before birth, I chose my family to learn my lessons in this incarnation. Did my family choose me too? Can I be their lesson as well? Yes. My response to that is yes, Danusha, because I think that we all signed, or we all agreed to soul contracts before we came to this life, and so I believe that you would have been in their soul contracts and they would have been in your soul contract as well. Okay, so yeah, so I got Danusha's question. Are there any others? I'm not seeing any other questions. Yeah, are there any other questions, or do you guys feel we covered everything? Oh, Teresa got Igerine and her magic scoop. Oh, that's awesome, especially that you didn't have any. That's really great. Igerine is such a good crystal to have, and we have 75% ones in the shop right now. It's one of the most protective stones you can work with. Karen Kelly, I get sleepy quickly. Could I be holding others' energy? I don't feel it the same as others in the group. If I fall asleep before sending calling back, should I do something more than what was showed? Well, Karen, I fall asleep. I get sleepy quickly. I see what you're saying. So, like, you fall asleep before you're able to do the work. I would recommend maybe doing it before you get sleepy, like maybe before you go to bed doing it. And I don't think you need to do, if you forget, I don't think you need to do anything extra. Just do it in the next morning. You're not going to be harmed. It's just going to, like, you might feel a little bit more drained. You might feel irritable. I know I get grumpy. When I'm holding energy, whether it's my own or other people's, I get really grumpy and irritable. Stephanie Colbert, can we break our soul contracts during our lifetime, or are we locked in? You know what? I don't have that answer for you. I don't think, you mean can we intentionally break it? I think, I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm not an expert on this by any means. I do have my opinion. And I don't know if it's correct. So, Stephanie Kolb, I think that's a really interesting question. So, can you post that in the Facebook group and we can get some dialogue on that? Because I think the only way that you can really break a soul contract is by, or not even just break, but end a soul contract is by leaving, or by choosing to leave this lifetime. But I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong. Karen said, I'm not sure we can without assistance from the other side. I think that's along the same lines as what I'm saying as well. No, just do it. Yeah, just do it when you remember again. That's what I'm thinking too. Gail says, I get grumpy too. I need to be more intentional, and just realizing when I am feeling grumpy, like, okay, what can I do to get out of this? Jan E. Hoffmeister, we don't have a date in place yet. We still have to plan. This Reimagine retreat took a long time to plan, but I love that you're excited and asking about it again, because I really truly enjoyed doing it, and I know the rest of the team did as well. Karina George, Alexys, any tips for embracing more fully our chart? I'm a Virgo sun, but if I feel like I identify more with my Aquarius North Node and even my lunar phase, waxing gibbous. Maybe to double click a question. I don't think it's to double click a question. I do think we would get a deeper answer if we had Tara up here for sure. So I would like to talk about it again when she's here as well. But I think if you are identifying with your North Node, I feel like that means you're doing something right. And that doesn't necessarily mean not identifying with your Aquarius sun, or your Virgo sun. But if your North Node is the work you're here to do, so if you're identifying with that, I think that's really a great thing. If you want to, are you saying you want to embrace your Virgo more fully? Because that's something that I can ask Tara about and get a better answer. And I identify with my lunar phase as well too. Let's see. My boyfriend is listening to your answer to my question. He seems to think I get grumpy or irritable too. I can tell by the way he that makes me giggle too. Let's see. I wonder what this is. I mean, when I made the contract, when I knew why and the higher purpose. Yeah. No, I understand, Teresa. It really is a great question. It's an interesting conversation. I would love to have that with Athena and Tara here too, because I think they would have an interesting take on it as well. Oh, you missed elder council, counselor. You missed elder councils, Sarah. Well, go back and watch the replay when you have time. Okay, guys. This was really, really fun. I'm really glad we did this. I know Athena says it all the time when she says, when she's feeling tired or drained, she usually feels refreshed and energized after spending time in our container. And I'm feeling that right now too. So thank you for that. And I enjoyed our conversation, and I would love to see an extension of these conversations in the Facebook group as well. So thank you for being here. I love you very much. I will be live on our main Facebook page tomorrow around 1 o'clock for the daily live, because Athena is taking the day off. So I hope you guys will be able to hang out and come say hi. Oh, I'm sorry, Saya, but please watch the replay. I think we had some really great conversations here, and I'm sorry you missed it, but